Greetings and assalamu alaikum. My name is Paul Muhammad, and today we're going to talk about the many different things and uses of ham radio. More so the importance of ham radio. I have a ham radio right here. I'll be showing you a few different models of ham radio and the importance thereof as it relates to communication, as it relates to survival, and things of that nature. The ultimate question that I want to ask you today is, what will you do in a situation where there's no electricity? Your cell phone, your smartphone doesn't work, the internet doesn't work. How will you communicate with your family, your loved ones, your children? How will you know if they're okay? If there's a magnitude earthquake, how will you know that your family is okay? If there's a tornado, how will you know if your family is okay? Well, there is a solution. That solution is ham radio. Ham radio is one of the oldest forms of communication that has proven to be the most useful, robust, and reliable in a grid-down situation. I have right here with 22 things you can do with amateur radio. I have a list. And number one is talk around the world without the internet or cell phones. Use your own internet when the other one is down. So this little ham radio is like your little internet in your pocket. When the whole world goes silent, you won't. All right? Next, we have send your voice, text, and pictures to unusual places, both near and far. Ham radio has the capability to do that. You know, the average radio will give you a communicate because of the nature of frequency and radio waves. And by the way, radio frequency travels at the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second. But as the radio frequencies travel, because of the curvature of the Earth, the radio frequency will hit the Earth at a certain distance. Think about somewhere between 5 and 10 miles. And also just depend on the terrain in which you live in. And radio frequency from handheld radios like this, which are not high frequency radios, they can get on some of the higher frequencies. It will bounce off of buildings. If you're in a car, it will just bounce around in the car unless the window's down. If you're in a house, it'll bounce off the walls unless you have a powerful antenna. Moving right along. In ham radio, you have what's called simplex communication. Simplex communication is radio-to-radio communication. Well, simplex communication, the farthest I've gotten myself riding in my car using a mobile handheld unit was about 30 miles. You know, when you got a straight line of communication, it also depends on the receiver, the kind of antenna that the person on the other end has, and that kind of antenna that you have. These antennas can enhance your capability to send a signal or to send communication over a long distance. Now, were you in situations where you want to send communications out further? In every city, there's what's called repeaters. A repeater is like a relay. Right now, about 15 miles from here, there's a repeater in an area called Olivet. And I can hit that repeater from within my office. It's about 15 miles out. And when I hit that repeater, I can bounce off of the repeater and my signal can go a little further. Whereas one day I was talking to a guy, he was over in Wright City. He was about 50 miles out, so I made 50-mile communication. There's another repeater over in Alton, Illinois, and this repeater is has a lot longer range. It can go all the way up to Springfield and all over the place, so it's a wide coverage. I was able to hit that repeater from home, and I believe it's about 25 miles. So I can get some pretty good communication. So what we need as a people, we need to get involved with this ham radio thing. You can pick up on these repeater directories or you can order it on Amazon online. And every state is listed in this particular directory, and it has a list of all the local repeaters. A lot of the repeaters have solar backup systems in case of a grid down situation where the repeater needs to stay up. There's something else I wanted to mention as well about the repeater. Oh, in order to transmit on the ham radio, the FCC regulates that you must have a license to transmit. You do not have to have a license to purchase one. You do not have to have a license to have one in your possession. And if there's an emergency situation, you can communicate on the ham radio without a license. You can listen on the ham radio without a license. Hospitals, a lot of the hospitals have frequencies. Your police departments, fire departments, your tactical units, they all have different frequencies that they publicly publicize on their websites. So you can just you can use it as a weather radio. Just you want to listen. Most municipalities or counties have a weather station frequency where you can listen to the weather. So a lot of times what we'll do, if there's bad weather, we'll turn on the weather frequency and just listen, because it'll give you blow by blow, up to date communications as it relates to bad weather or whatnot. Now, in order to prepare to get the FCC license, by the way, there are 3-class license. You have your technician class license, you have your general class license, and you have your extra license. Well, I currently hold a technician class license. Here's a great book by Gordon West. It has all the answers to the test, and it gives you why a particular answer is the correct answer. I really like this book, so it really educates you on ham radio and its uses. It's only 35 questions on the test, and you can only miss 10. So it only costs $15, so it's not a big cost. You just got to study. Right now I'm currently studying for my general class license. Now each license class allows you to operate on different bands, frequency bands. On a technician class license, you can get on a 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and each one of those meter bands have a range of frequencies that it allows you to get on. All right. Also, you can purchase software, ham radio software that will give you a test, a mock test. Or you can go to hamtestonline.com and take a mock test. Just taking the test along and getting the answers wrong, then they're going to tell you what the right answer is. They're going to tell you why it's the right answer. So the ham radio software is important as well. The reason you should get your ham license is because you want to practice. You want to be in the practice of it, so that when something happens, you go on automatic. All right. So what I've done, everyone in my home has a ham radio. This little Baofeng, I think it's a GT3 Mark III Baofeng. It's a tri-band, tri-power radio, which has 3 power levels. I think it's 2 volts, 5 volts, and 8 watts. 2 watts, 5 watts, 8 watts. It's like 3 different levels of power. And what that entails is the more power you have, the harder you can push and make your antenna work. So this is a great little radio I got for the boys. About $60 each for this particular radio. And here's a little cutie pie. So if you got a cutie pie in your life, you got a wife, girlfriend, whoever, you get them this little cutie pie Baofeng, so they can communicate, be safe, and be cute at the same time. You know that's important to cutie pies. Okay. And then you got your man radio. You got your tactical man radio. Now the little cutie pie costs about $35. Don't cost a lot, and I think there's one now you can get for $30, $25, $30. But the little man radio, and they all do basically the same thing. Just some of them have a little more bells and whistles. But this one here is Woshan, KGUV8D. It has about 1,000 memory channels, so you can store repeater frequencies in different cities. You can store them right into the memory channels. And it also, this radio in particular, doubles as a repeater. It's a crossband repeater that allows you, if you're in a particular situation and you can't get a signal out, you can leave this one on a high elevated place in your car and put it in repeater mode, connected to this one, but have this one also connected to a repeater that you wouldn't otherwise be able to connect if you're going down in the valley. So you take this one down in the valley, leave this one up on the hill, and have it connected to the repeater. I know it's some advanced stuff, but once you get into it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Also, this little handheld radio can communicate with the space station. All right. So if you had a tracking, there are tracking tools and tracking software to know when the particular space station is above you, and because the radio frequency and simplex travel in a straight line, you can communicate with the space station. A lot of the Boy Scouts and amateur radio operators, you know, they sit around and want to talk to folks on a space station. So that's a great thing also. All right, what else do we have here? You have many publications like Getting Started with Ham Radio, which is good. And one of my favorites is the Operations Manual by the ARRL, of which I'm a member. Lot of great stuff in this book here. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see. All right, I'm gonna read some more of these 22 things you can do with amateur radio. You can create your own network of ham radio friends and send instant text messages without cell phones. You can meet awesome people from all over the U.S. and around the world on the air and in person at ham radio events. One time I was at what's called, what do they call that? Field Day. Field Day. Field Day is where all the amateur radio operators get together in your local regions, your local area, and they see how many connections they can make across the world. And I was on there, I talked to a guy in Nova Scotia, I talked to a guy over in the UK. I was operating on a 20-meter band. The 20-meter band is for those who hold a general class license, but as long as someone who has a general class license is present, you can operate on that band. Very exciting. And so that's one of the reasons I want to get my general class license, is I want to be able to have longer range communication on some of your higher frequencies. All right. With that, this concludes this session of the importance of ham radio. I'll be back at you real soon to finish up. And for those who are interested in ham radio, I encourage you to study, learn, and grow. And get yourself, go out and just buy one right now. $30 on Amazon, a Baofeng. I can send you, if you inbox me or reach out to me, I can send you digital ebooks, study books on preparing for the test. All right? So reach out to me, holler back. Assalamu alaikum.